Hi everyone, I want to introduce you to my brand new frame cards that I have at the Silhouette online store and in my SVG shop at LoriWhitlock.com. So if you take a look at these, they are frames, but they're also cards. So aren't they way cute? They have about a 1/2 inch depth to them, and you can build up scenes inside of the frame. You could also use them for a picture frame. You also don't have to attach the card to the back. That is a separate piece. You can put an easel on the back, and actually that is the intention of this file here. So let's pop that easel into place, and now you have an easel on the back of that cute home decor piece. So the other thing to note with these cards, I have included a box inside of the file for each and every design other than this home decor piece. I didn't put a box in this one. So you do have the easel on the back though. So look how cute all of these are. I'm going to show you how to put together another one. I also did a Halloween design recently, but since we're a little past Halloween, I didn't include that here. I have another one. I'm going to show you how we're going to put it together. So let's get started. I think you're really going to love these cards because not only are they really beautiful when they're completed, but they're also incredibly easy to put together. You can see that I've cut out all the pieces for the wreath card, and I'm going to show you how to assemble that right now. So this is the frame portion of the card, and you can see that it's all one piece, so it's pretty simple. We also have our embellishment pieces here, and I've gone ahead and put a pop dot between our little label here, and I've cut out an orange background piece just to illustrate. If you had a pattern paper or a different color to put in the background of your card, you would go ahead and install that first, just like on the Santa card. See how there's a pattern paper back here? It's underneath the edges of the frame, and so you want to go ahead and glue that down so that the frame will cover that and you won't have any gaps or anything like that. So you would go ahead and take that piece and glue it right to the center here on the back. And that should overlap plenty for your frame to cover all the edges. I'm not going to put orange on our Christmas card. I actually want it to be this cream color in the background. So I'm just going to go ahead and build our frame. So the first thing you're going to do is basically roll fold all of those side pieces towards the inside of your frame. So the first two sides here are the long sides. You'll notice these other two sides have these little mitered corners down here. We'll do those last. So go ahead and put some adhesive on these on the last edge here. And I want my my wood to be the outside of my frame. So obviously I'm rolling all of that where the wood shows, and the cream is going to be the background of our card. So I'm going to put the adhesive on these two outer pieces of the wood pattern here. Okay, so I always like to work with my table so that I can get things to lay nice and flat. So I'm just going to lay that over and glue it flat down against the table. And that should create your one wall of your frame. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that with the other side as well. When you lay that down, make sure you have two panels on the top here. You have a square mark down the middle, and then lay that down. So that should give you your other wall. So now you have the two sides of your frame coming together already. And really, you just do the exact same thing on the smaller ends, but I do like to put a tiny bit of adhesive under those edges just so that it sticks nicely and you don't see a gap. So let's go ahead and put adhesive on the long pieces first, and I'll show you what I do for that little mitered corner. Whoops, make sure you get that last panel. Okay, so again, you're going to roll that around, and the cut edge is going to go all the way up to that first fold there. So you want to make sure that that's right up against that, and then roll it into place. You can kind of feel it touching that curb. Okay, so now that's in place, and I'm actually going to kind of lay it down flat again to push against the table, because it's kind of hard to get that to glue into place without pushing against the table. I just like to kind of roll things up in place and feel it pop into place and then lay it flat. Probably don't really have to put it in place first. But then you can kind of just push those corners overlapping those two sides. Okay, but now things don't want to stay together unless we add a little bit of adhesive under the corners. That's where my handy dandy little glue bottle comes from. And I think this bottle, as I'm learning, comes from the quilling industry. So if you can look for a little quilling glue bottle. It has a long nose here, which makes it really easy to put a little tiny bit of glue right where you want it. So I just put a little bit of glue on those corners and hold them to dry. So go ahead and do that with all four corners. Okay, while our frame is drying, let's go ahead and put together our wreath. So I've gone ahead and put the little bow on the front of the wreath, and I'm going to flip it over and add a little adhesive and layer it on top of my cream colored piece here. So I'm using again my liquid glue so I can put it precisely in all these small tiny little areas here, right around the edge. This piece cuts out pretty intricately. Okay, so I'll just flip that right over and glue those together. I might have to pick that up to get them lined up right. You can just see it lines up perfectly if you get it just right. Okay, so we'll just let that dry and we'll go grab our frame and we'll attach our card base. Okay, so now we have our frame here. I'm going to go ahead and glue it to our card base while we're letting our wreath dry. And I'm going to use my tape runner. So I just put some adhesive to the front side of that card. And then you can decide which one, where you want the top and bottom to be. It doesn't really matter. So I'll go ahead and do it this way. Just make sure it's centered on there just right. Okay, so there we have the front of our frame. Now we're ready to go ahead and glue in our little label and our wreath. And we're completely done with our card. Actually, I'm going to go get some pop dots and put that behind the wreath to make it stand out just a little bit. But there you can see we have our completed card. And like I mentioned, there is a box that comes in the file, and all of these cards fit right in the box. And you can wrap baker's twine or something like that around them to finish them off. I hope you enjoy making these little cards, and I have a great day. Bye-bye.